13.8 billion years ago, a monumental explosion gave birth to everything we know, the Big Bang. Since then, the universe has expanded and evolved, creating stars, galaxies, and life itself as we know it. But what few people know, or perhaps even realize, is that just as the universe was born, it will one day come to an end. And the most fascinating, or perhaps terrifying thing is that scientists have several hypotheses as to how this will happen. Today, we're going to explore the three most intriguing and mysterious theories about the end of the cosmos, each one more impressive than the last. Before we dive into this cosmic mystery, if you're fascinated by content like this, about the universe and its curiosities, leave your like and subscribe to the channel. This helps us bring you even more videos about the mysteries of the cosmos, as well as keeping you up to date with the latest discoveries in science. Theory 1. The Big Freeze, the slow and freezing death of the universe. The first theory we're going to explore is perhaps the most widely accepted in the scientific community, the Big Freeze, also known as the heat death of the universe. This theory proposes that the universe will not end in a cataclysmic explosion, but rather in a slow and inevitable death, caused by continuous expansion and the gradual depletion of its energy. But what exactly does this mean? To understand, we need to go back to basic physics and think about how energy works. Imagine, for example, that you've just made a hot cup of coffee. When the coffee comes out fresh from the kettle, it's full of thermal energy. It's hot, there's movement in the particles. You can even see the steam rising. But if you set the cup aside for a few minutes, what happens? The heat starts to escape, and little by little, the coffee cools down to room temperature. What was once a cup full of energy becomes an inert liquid, with no heat, no movement. This is basically what scientists believe will happen to the universe as a whole, only on an immeasurably larger scale. The Big Freeze postulates that as the universe continues to expand, all the energy it contains is distributed and spread out, just like the heat from coffee. The energy dissipates, and eventually, there will no longer be enough heat sources to maintain movement, creation, or life. The stars, which today shine brightly and provide us with heat and light, will slowly burn up all their nuclear fuel and become white dwarfs. Dead, cold, dull stars. Every billion years, fewer stars will be formed, until the last star in the universe finally burns out. Over time, the entire universe will reach a state of thermal equilibrium, where the temperature will be close to absolute zero, minus 273.15 degrees Celsius. At that point, all forms of life and energy will cease to exist as we know them. It's as if time itself stops, because there will be no more events happening in the cosmos. Entropy, or the degree of disorder in the universe, will reach its maximum point, and everything will become a cold, lifeless expanse where nothing else can occur. This theory is especially disturbing because it suggests that the end of the universe will be marked not by a great spectacle, but by absolute silence. Everything that exists will simply fade away, like a flame that slowly goes out. It's as if the universe were a huge engine that one day will simply stop working for lack of energy. Theory 2. The Big Rip. The total disintegration of the cosmos. If the Big Freeze seems like a sad but slow ending, the Big Rip presents a much more dramatic and catastrophic vision for the end of the universe. Instead of slowly cooling to death, this theory suggests that the cosmos will literally fall apart. But how would that work? To understand the Big Rip, think of the universe as a bladder. When you start filling it with air, it expands, and its walls begin to tighten. As you keep filling the bladder, it gets bigger and bigger until it reaches a point where the internal pressure is so great that the walls can't take it anymore, and it bursts. In the context of the universe, the force that is filling the bladder is dark energy, a mysterious form of energy that represents around 70% of the total content of the universe. Dark energy is responsible for the accelerated expansion of the universe. In the beginning, this expansion was relatively slow, but as the universe ages, dark energy is causing galaxies to move away from each other faster and faster. The problem, according to the Big Rip theory, is that this acceleration could get out of hand. Instead of just pulling galaxies apart, the force of expansion could become so intense that it tears the very fabric of space-time. Imagine that the universe is a huge fabric. At first, the expansion only stretches the fabric slightly. But over time, this stretching intensifies so much that first the galaxies are torn, then the stars inside the galaxies, and then the planets around these stars. In the end, even atoms, the fundamental building blocks of all matter, would be destroyed, and all that would be left would be isolated particles floating in the void. It's an absolutely devastating scenario. We're not just talking about an end to life or stars, but the end of the very forces that hold the universe together. The Big Rip wouldn't just destroy visible matter. It would end the very laws of physics that underpin that matter. Gravity, the electromagnetic force, all the interactions that hold atoms together would cease to exist. What would be left would be a complete void, where not even particles could interact with each other. Scientists estimate that if the Big Rip is real, it could occur in around 20 to 30 billion years. And unlike the Big Freeze, which would happen slowly over trillions of years, the Big Rip would be a fast and violent event. In a matter of seconds, the entire universe would be destroyed as soon as the acceleration reached its critical point. It would be as if the cosmic bladder burst at once, leaving only absolute emptiness. Theory 3. The Big Crunch. The universe. Shrinking until it collapses. The last theory we're going to explore is the Big Crunch. To understand the Big Crunch, imagine a rubber band being stretched to its maximum. At first, it stretches easily, but the more you pull, the harder it gets. If you keep pulling, the elastic can break, but it can also return with full force to its original state. The Big Crunch would be the universe returning to its original state, compressed, dense, and extremely hot. According to this theory, the universe is expanding now, but this expansion won't last forever. At some point, the force of gravity could overcome the energy of the expansion. If there's enough matter and energy in the universe to pull everything back, the expansion would stop, and the universe would begin to contract. The galaxies, stars, and planets that are now moving away from each other would begin to move closer together, faster and faster, as if the universe were being sucked towards a central point. In the end, all the matter in the universe would be compressed into an extremely small and dense point, similar to the state the universe was in before the Big Bang. This would mark the end of everything we know, destroyed by the immense force of gravity. However, some scientists believe that after the Big Crunch, there could be another Big Bang, restarting the cycle of the universe. It would be like a cosmic rebirth, where the universe dies and is born again in an infinite cycle of destruction and creation. Although this theory has lost popularity with the discovery of dark energy, which is accelerating the expansion of the universe, it is still a fascinating hypothesis. The Big Crunch suggests a dramatic end, but with the promise of a new beginning. The universe would be like a phoenix, rising from the ashes of its own collapse. The final destiny of the universe. The end of the universe is one of the biggest questions in science. Whether it ends in a cold, slow death with the Big Freeze, a violent disintegration with the Big Rip, or a collapse followed by rebirth with the Big Crunch, one thing is certain. The fate of the cosmos is sealed. What remains to be seen is which of these scenarios will be our future. If you enjoyed this video and want to continue exploring the mysteries of the universe with us, don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to the channel. That way, you'll always be up to date with science's most fascinating discoveries and the incredible stories the cosmos still has to tell us.